Sorry about that racket. That was the refrigerator cutting on. So welcome, good morning, and this is another taste challenge. So I'm sorry for that intro. That sounds bad, but maybe I can edit that out. This is a tasting of two 40% alcohol Reposado tequilas. So mezcals. Well, I'm really getting this confused. All right, so most of the mezcals I have are 40% alcohol, so that's kind of normal. Here is Lajita Reposado. These are both using espadin, and it's 1989. So I'm sure the company knows when they introduce their own product. And there's a little booklet in here, on here about all about mezcal. You could read it if you buy this. And it's a squared off bottle. It's got an embossment on the back of an agave plant. This is from Licores, Veracruz, and it's got a worm in it. You want to eat the worm when the bottle's empty. I bought this at Total Wine and More, and it was $17.99. Now the price has skyrocketed to well, they're not carrying it anymore, but everybody else has it like $30 at least. I think they had it mispriced. I'm really not sure, but it's strange that it was only $17.99. Cheers, big bra. Says, yeah, gut rot. Okay, here is Xicaru Reposado. It's from a company called Xicaru. It's an independent company. It's not owned by Pernod Ricard or Diageo. Well, not yet. See if I can get this thing to focus a little bit. There we go. This was about $32. I bought it at a liquor store right off the Interstate 59 in Pearl River, Louisiana. We're really not in the town of Pearl River. It's really in the swamp. True story. But you can get up the exit. There's one exit there. Call it Honey Island Swamp. And but you can get off there and go to this. I don't remember the name of it, but it's the only thing there. There's no other business there, and it's a truck stop. I think there's like one of the like a chain restaurant in there, maybe like Chick-fil-A or something. And then there's this huge convenience store and travel center and liquor store. And I figured, let me go check. You might have something in there. And they had this, and they had an amazing selection of beer, wine, and liquor. So it's definitely if you're on the highway, it's definitely worth taking the exit and checking it out if you're into that kind of stuff. All right. This has a special cap where you can pour out, but you can't pour in, because sometimes there's a problem with people dumping out the quality liquor and then putting in a substitute and trying to sell it as the quality. Okay. I was talking to somebody that worked at restaurants in New York City, I think mostly Queens, and he said the restaurant he worked at, this is just him saying that. I mean, maybe he's making it up, but I didn't know him to be a liar. He was visiting me, and he said really the restaurant is owned by organized crime, an organized crime outfit. He said they do that all the time. He said they put cheap whiskey or gin in a nice looking bottle and they sell it as the good stuff. He said, but he said at night they had like these bowls of mayonnaise. He said they would just put it back in the bottle, the jar. They wouldn't throw it out. So it sounded like a place I would not want to go to. Okay, anyway, we'll do the screen share. First of all, I'll show you this one. It's an older brand. Lajita. Rested handmade mezcal. Lajita. Well, I don't know what that word means. Lajita. I don't know what the word means. Lajita. Lajita. Don't know the word. With worm, 100% agave swordsman. That's espadin. That's what espadin means. That's a type of tequila, type of mezcal plant, a type of agave plant. So rested handmade mezcal Lajita with worm, 100% agave swordsman. See, they're translating it directly into English instead of writing espadin. Clear liquid with a golden hue, transparent and shiny. Yeah, it is. Then there's the aroma notes, the tasting notes. They got some medals that it won, but a long time ago, nothing in the last 20 years. But there it is. It says carefully made with 100% selected espadin agave. Yeah. Xicaru, aged about 3 months, 2 to 4 months. There's some basic photos of the distillery master, the owner of the company, Fernando Santabanez. There's the piñas, the hearts, the fruit, you know, of the agave. There's the oak barrels where they age it in a jaguar at rest. Xicaru silver, the jaguar is alert and active, and the Xicaru reposado, he is resting. Copyright 2011 to 2025 Xicaru USA. So they're saying back to 2011, but my trademark information said they first used their trademark in 2013. Probably they started setting up their company in 11, but it looks like their actual products didn't hit the market until 2013 because it takes a while. Xicaru silver 102 degrees. Pechuga mole, Tobala, Reposado, and Añejo. So I have the Reposado and the silver so far. Would I like to try the other ones? Oh, yes, I certainly would. And you'll notice that on the Licores Veracruz, they're headquartered in Veracruz, Mexico, they changed the bottle design. Doesn't have the fancy bottle anymore, just like a simple bottle. Guess they save money. Save money with the simple bottle. But that is a liter bottle they're showing, I think. That could be the reason. Those liter bottles are usually round, like a bar bottle. Okay. I think I'm going to need to pour a little bit more of the Xicaru. Now the Xicaru is not as yellowish. You'll notice that the Lajita is yellowish. Wooden cap, but rubber stopper, synthetic rubber, neoprene. Yeah, that'll be enough there, I think. Just a little dribble of it. All right. So I'm going to have to close my eyes because if I glance and see that little yellow tinge, I'm going to know it's the Lajita. And I think Lajita was the second mezcal I ever bought. The first was the Monte Alban. And when I first tried it, I thought it tasted like plastic, like a plastic bag. And I said, what did they do? Age this in a plastic bag? And then the taste changed, and now it tastes like cornbread and an earthworm. So I mean, you know, it's yikes. Now this one, the Lajita is really nice, and I was impressed by the smoky qualities. Mostly juice here, agave juice, agave nectar, a little smoke, a little bit, not a whole lot happening. Less of the juice, a little smoke, And I know the Xicaru has just a little bit of smokiness, so I think that must be the Xicaru. All right, let's go with the taste. Cheers. Smoky. It tastes like it's just infused with smoke. And I know they roast these in an underground conical oven. They put coals all on top of it and just let that smoke it just simmers for days in that oven, kind of a dirt oven, something like they cook other food in Mexico. I think they do that with corn cobs, bury them and they do stuff. But anyway, it makes a good product, even with meat also. Don't they do that in Hawaii, and they cover it up with big leaves so it's smoking? Kind of a homemade smoker. But yeah, that's what it is. Not really smoky over here. It's just juice. Agave juice. I say this is the Xicaru. I can tell it is because it's clear. There's no yellowness. Okay. Ote. Now, a lot of people think buckwheat said Ote because of Eddie Murphy. But, it wasn't buckwheat that said Ote. It was Porky, the other little kid. They used to kind of, in the later years of our gang, the Little Rascals, our gang, starring the Little Rascals, it was usually Porky and buckwheat hanging around together. And then they also had Froggy coming in and Robert Blake, who later played Beretta. But Porky's the one that said Ote because he had like a speech impediment. And they thought it was funny, MGM found that comical, so they had him say that all the time. He was real little. I mean, when that kid started, he must have been like, was he 3 years old even? I mean, he was really small. And then, by the time he got off the show, he was getting pretty old. Like Spanky, they fired him because he wouldn't quit. He was like, no, I want to stay on the show. And he was like, had like a little mustache. Like, he was like a teenager, and he's like, hey, let's do this. And then they're like, nah, it's not, you're not a little rascal anymore. And he said he didn't want to go off the show, but they told him, gotta go. And then it's kind of like Leave It to Beaver. He was like this little kid. And then by the time the show ended, he had like, you could see he was like getting a mustache. The Lajita's a lot smokier, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to give the win to Lajita. Is it a better product? That's debatable because everybody's got different preferences, you see. So I would say they are on par. They're both well made. They're enjoyable. Can't go wrong. The price is about the same. But like I said, $17.99. Yeah, that was a nice price, but that lasted, I think it was like a month. I bought it, and then my friend David was like, oh, I'm going to check that out for $17.99. And then he was like, I love it, man. I'm going to buy another bottle. And he went back. And he called me on the phone. He said, what the hell? The thing went up to like $24.99. I said, really? And then they didn't have it anymore. But I've checked other liquor stores online, and they got it for like $30, At the lowest, $28. So, I don't know. It was like mispriced, like that blackstrap molasses rum that I bought from Total Wine. They had it for $8.99 from Cruzan. Cruzan. Yeah, I know Cruzan is an inexpensive product. You can get it for $9.99. But this is the blackstrap Estate Diamond series. Their Estate Diamond is like way above the regular, and it's usually in the 20s or higher. So when I saw it for $8.99, I thought that's a mistake on their website. When they go to ring it up, it's not going to ring up. She scanned it, $8.99. I bought it. 2 weeks later, it was up to 20 something. I don't know if it was miscoded or if it was a sale, but they didn't have a sales. Usually at Total Wine, they'll have like a special tag on sale this month, on discount or something like that. Or they have the green tag, which is closeout. They're getting rid of it, which is what Albertsons does. If they're getting rid of a product, they'll put a green tag. Anyway, my personal preference is for the smokiness. Okay, this is what I prefer. I do prefer the smoky quality. So my pick would always be Lajita. Now, Claude Diamond, who joins us sometimes with our tastings, he said he doesn't like mezcal because he can't stand the smokiness. That's why he doesn't like Johnny Walker, because it's smoky. I said, wait a minute. I said, Claude, I got so many mezcals right now, and only a select few of them are smoky, especially the Lajita. Most of them are not smoky. So this one is just like agave juice. It tastes more like a tequila than a mezcal, but a tequila is a mezcal, so that doesn't even make any sense, does it? People will ask me, do you like tequila or mezcal? Which do you prefer? The question doesn't make sense because tequila is a type of mezcal. It's the most popular type, but in people's thinking, they're different, but they're not. Now, if you're not a tequila and you're just a mezcal, it has to be 100% agave. Okay, it can't be a mixto. Only tequila can be a mixto, like have filler. Okay, and traditionally the mezcal is roasted in that oven underground, shaped like a bowl. But that's not required. If you read the regulations, there's nothing saying it has to be done that way. It's just the way they do it. And tequila is different, but it's not a law. It's just how they tend to do it. It tends to be done that way. It'd be like asking somebody, though, do you prefer bourbon or whiskey? Well, bourbon is a whiskey, so that question makes no sense. Okay. So I'm glad the cat is calm right now. I got to get my loose leaf paper stacked up again every time I stack it neatly, because I have a stack of loose leaf paper down there and I use it. But she jumps on it and scatters it everywhere. It's like a toy. I've got her. She has cat toys, balls, little mice, another little thing shaped like a voodoo doll, which she sleeps with that, so she doesn't play with it. But she doesn't want to play with the toys. She prefers to play with the ink pen and a pencil, which I can't even find the ink pen right now. It's probably on the floor somewhere. She's fascinated by this ink pen and a pencil and loose leaf paper. This is what she wants to play with. Kitten toys, well, that's not too interesting. But an ink pen, a ballpoint pen is just like amazing to her. She's sleeping now. She's sitting right there on my lap. And she was looking at me, and then her head got lower and lower. And she was purring, and now she's sleeping. Her head is down on her paws, and she's knocked out. She's still purring. Oh, yeah, I'll see you lift your head up. But you woke me up this morning, though. She had been very quiet at night, let me sleep. But this night, she woke me up by amazingly playing with her little tennis ball, her catnip tennis ball. I said, you're actually playing with your toy? But you didn't need to wake me up, This is a cat that was rescued from the car wash. Okay, not inside the car wash, but on the property. And they propositioned me to take her. I guess every customer that came through, they said, you want a kitten? And then they found somebody to take the bait, so to speak. Okay, anyway, so Lajita, the clear and present winner in my booklet, but both are quality. One is not better than the other. Okay, they're even. Very well made, very well made. About $30, about $30. Availability, that's variable. Mezcal is a hit or miss thing because they don't even sell it in my town where I live. They don't have a single store that I'm aware of that sells. Okay, maybe Easy Stop and Cheap Liquor. That's the name of it. Easy Stop and cheap liquor owned by the same guy on the same highway, US Highway 61. It's a liquor store. Well, it's actually a convenience store masquerading as a liquor store, but I think they're registered as liquor convenience stores that get a lower tax. But they're obviously liquor stores. But and Easy Stop sells gasoline even. But they probably have mezcal. They probably have it. They probably have it. But I would never buy it there because their prices are exorbitant in general. In general, I find their prices are not good. In some cases, you can get a deal, but you got to really carefully shop. And I have gotten deals there. But generally, I would not buy mezcal from him. I think Mathern's has one brand of mezcal, but it's from a really expensive it's like $150 or $200. It's one of those really up on the top shelf, and it's very fancy. A gift product. So if I buy mezcal, more than likely I'm gonna either go to Star in Kenner, Louisiana, or Total Wine and More in Metairie, Louisiana, because I can get a decent price there. And I don't care which brand it is. I don't care. I don't have any preference for brands because I just want to try something new. So whatever I see, I'll just buy it. I don't have any game plan on mezcal, except I buy it and I try it, and then I buy it and I try it, and I buy another one and I try another one. You know what I'm saying? In all means, kind of like rye whiskey. What is the next rye whiskey I plan to buy? I don't know. What the next one I see? Pikesville. That's one I keep hearing about. Pikesville Rittenhouse. But who knows? Could be some off the wall brand. It's funny because you'll say off the wall brand and then you look up video reviews. It'd be like 50 video reviews for the last 10 years. I was like, this thing is not that rare. They got 50 video reviews. It's going to take me forever to watch all this. All right. So they're a very good taste challenge, but honestly, not really challenging. It wasn't a challenge. On the nose, I had it, that it was Lajita. Very smoky. But the other ones will be challenging because most of what I have is just like this, meaning not smoky in any meaningful way. Although you could argue it up that it does have some smokiness. It does. All right. Well, y'all take care. And talk to y'all later. Bye-bye, everybody. And join us tomorrow night, Wednesday night, for Strong Beer Wednesday. Any strong beer, 5.5 or above. And I've got some interesting strong beers.